wasn't expecting to get rich today. Neighborhood diner just after the breakfast crowd had gone. The waitress there, Miss Annie Parker, had worked that room since Reagan was on. She wore the same blue apron every morning, covered in coffee stains and luck. Knew everybody's favorite order before they even sat down and spoke. A local legend, if you ask me. She carried stories from table to table, like some kind of hometown DJ. Whoa! Apron pocket jackpot happened on a Tuesday noon. Not a lottery, not a fortune, just a little unexpected tune. Oh, apron pocket jackpot made the whole room laugh. Sometimes the richest moments ain't got nothing to do with cash. She reached inside her apron pocket, looking for a customer receipt. Instead she found $6 a harmonica and 3 coupons for discounted meat. A baseball card from 1980, a note that said buy cat food, a tiny plastic lucky horseshoe, and a picture from a family reunion. The whole diner started laughing. She laughed hardest of all. Apron pocket jackpot, treasures from another age. Half the town was represented on that wrinkled little stage. Apron pocket jackpot, better than television. A reminder that ordinary life has the best writers living in it. You know, everybody carries a history. Some folks just keep theirs in an apron. Before I left, she poured more coffee and pointed toward the old photograph. Said, that's my husband at the county fair, best dancer I ever knew. For a second her smile got softer, then brightened like the morning sun. She said, 20 years gone now, still feels like yesterday. And somehow it didn't sound sad, it sounded grateful. Apron pocket jackpot, full of memories and smiles, full of little pieces of a life collected mile by mile. Apron pocket jackpot, still ringing in my soul. A little laughter, a little love, a little story beautifully told. Apron pocket jackpot, yeah, that's my kind of gold. Coffee was good, the story was even better. Hey, you ever notice some people carry sunshine around with them? There's a man with a cart full of balloons, red ones, blue ones, silver stars, floating underneath the afternoon. Kids spot him from a block away, like he's some kind of neighborhood celebrity. He knows every dog's name in the park and somehow remembers everybody's story. That's a gift not everybody gets. The city's busy, the city's loud, but he moves through it like a parade of one. He's got those balloon vendor blues, but they ain't sad at all. Just a pocket full of kindness and a smile for one and all. Talk about. A little boy dropped his ice cream cone and looked ready to cry right there. The balloon man handed him a yellow rocket, and suddenly the problem disappeared. An old woman feeding pigeons nearby got a flower-shaped balloon for free. She laughed and said, "Young man, I'm 82. He said, "Today, you're 83 feet tall to me." Now that's a line worth borrowing. Near sunset, the crowd grew thinner. The shadows stretched across the square. Only a handful of balloons remained, dancing gently in the evening air. I asked him why he never seemed tired after all these years out in the heat. He smiled and pointed toward the children and said, "Best audience in the world." Fair point. He's got those balloon vendor blues, floating through another day, making people laugh and smile in his own unhurried way. Balloon vendor blues, still rising with the breeze, a little naturally as leaves on trees. Oh, balloon vendor blues, and the whole town sings along. One balloon left, one happy kid. Another successful day. I wasn't looking for wisdom, I was looking for the garden hose. searching the garage for a hose I swore was hanging by the wall. Found 3 old toolboxes, 2 baseball gloves, and a fishing reel I forgot I owned at all. There was a lawn chair from 1990, a radio that hadn't worked in years, and a box full of birthday candles for people who'd grown older right alongside me. Funny what turns up when you're looking for something else. The older I get, the more I notice life likes taking the scenic route. That's my garden hose philosophy. Things don't always show up where they should be. You look for one thing, you find 3 more, and somehow that's the beauty of the journey. Oh, garden hose philosophy. A little patience goes a long way. Sometimes the answer's right in front of you, just hiding behind yesterday. My neighbor climbed over the fence around noon, asked if I'd seen his missing rake. I said, not yet, but based on my morning, there's no telling what we'll uncover today. 2 hours later, we found the rake inside his truck the whole darn time. Then sat beneath a maple tree laughing like we'd solved a major crime. Best detective work all month. You know, half of adulthood is looking for things, the other half is forgetting why. Eventually I found that garden hose, coiled up neat behind a stack of paint, exactly where my wife had said it'd be. 3 separate times, if I'm being honest. I water the tomatoes in the backyard, watch the butterfly drift through the sun, and thought, that's enough accomplishment for one perfectly good day. That's my garden hose philosophy. Life doesn't have to make perfect sense. A few wrong turns, a few good laughs, and a little less urgency. Oh, garden hose philosophy still works pretty well for me. A little older, still learning how simple happiness can be. Garden hose philosophy, and I'm sticking to it proudly. By the way, the tomatoes look fantastic. Vichoto imot by hot hair.
Wind's picking up. Looks like a good day for you. Down at Riverside Community Park, the grass rolled green beneath the sky. Family spread blankets near the baseball field and watched the clouds drift by. A little girl with a yellow kite was fighting hard against the breeze. Her father knelt beside her, smiling, and said, "Don't pull so much, trust the wind a little, please." That's advice. For more than kites, some things rise when you stop forcing them. Some things fly when you let them. On a kite string afternoon, under a wide blue tune, watching little dreams climb higher beneath the summer moon. A kite string afternoon makes the whole world feel brand new. Just enough wind, just enough wonder to carry me and you. An old couple shared a folding chair like they'd been doing for 50 years. Not saying much, not needing to, just smiling between the cheers. Teenagers tossed a football nearby, a golden retriever stole the show, and somewhere a food truck played old soul records through a speaker crackling low. Nobody seemed in a hurry for anything. Kite finally found his rhythm and danced above the riverbank. The little girl threw both arms up like she just won something big. Maybe she had, because joy doesn't measure size, only feeling. On a kite string afternoon, the sky feels close enough to touch. A little laughter, a little sunlight, and somehow that's more than enough. Oh, a kite string afternoon, still floating through my mind. A little older, still discovering the beauty in ordinary time. A kite string afternoon, and a lesson carried on the breeze. Sometimes the best way forward is letting go just enough to be free. Look at that kite go. Yeah, I'd call that a good day. I almost stayed home. That would have been a mistake. Tuesday night at Rose's Italian, half the booths were already full. Waiter said, only table left is near the window. I said, sounds good to me. Then I noticed the across the room, wearing a bright red scarf and a smile, reading a menu like it was a mystery novel, taking her sweet old time a while. Something told me this might be interesting. Funny how a normal evening can suddenly change key without warning. There she was, in a lucky jacket at table 4, making the whole room brighter than it was before. Lucky jacket at table 4, and I couldn't help but grin. Some nights begin with dinner, some nights begin with possibility. The waiter mixed up our dessert orders and delivered mine to her instead. She laughed and said, well, now we have a situation. That's exactly what she said. 20 minutes later, we were sharing cheesecake, talking about places we'd never seen. She collected postcards from small towns, I collected stories in between. Turns out those hobbies get along pretty well. You know, life has a funny way of introducing people. Outside, the city lights were flickering, cars rolled slowly through the night. Inside that little restaurant, everything felt exactly right. No fireworks, no grand orchestra, no dramatic movie scene, just two people enjoying conversation. And that's rarer than it seems. There she was, in a lucky jacket at table 4, turning an ordinary Tuesday into something worth remembering for. Lucky jacket at table 4, still crossing my mind tonight. A little laughter, a little chemistry, and the city lights shining bright. Lucky jacket at table 4. Maybe I'll see her there again next Tuesday. Same restaurant, just in case. 11:47. That's when the interesting people show up. I was pushing a grocery cart through aisle 7, looking for coffee and orange marmalade. The overnight clerk was stocking cereal boxes, singing old soul records slightly out of key. A nurse still wearing her hospital badge was debating between ice cream flavors. A truck driver stood comparing barbecue sauces like he was making foreign policy decisions. Nobody was in a hurry. That's what I liked about it. The city's loud all day, but after midnight it starts telling the truth, rolling a midnight grocery cart through fluorescent constellations, passing strangers carrying stories and unfinished conversations. Midnight grocery cart, moving easy through the night. Sometimes the ordinary world looks extraordinary under different lights. An elderly man in a baseball cap had peaches stacked inside his basket. Nothing else, just peaches. I finally asked, planning something special? He smiled and said, nope, just really love peaches. That's the kind of confidence I'm trying to achieve, rolling a midnight grocery cart through the kingdom of everyday life, where the dreamers and the workers cross paths beneath the lights. Midnight grocery cart, still drifting through my mind. A little strange, a little wonderful, the best kind of fine. You know, nobody writes songs about grocery stores, which seems unfair. The cashier handed me my receipt, asked if I had any big plans tomorrow. I said, not yet. She said, perfect, then went back to scanning bread. I walked outside beneath the city glow, coffee in one hand, marmalade in the other, and somehow felt richer than when I walked in, rolling a midnight grocery cart, still humming that quiet tune. Life doesn't always happen on a stage. Sometimes it happens near frozen foods. Oh, midnight grocery cart, one more memory to keep, a little older, still finding magic in places most folks never think to see. Midnight grocery cart, and a perfectly good night. Forgot the coffee filters. Guess I'll be back tomorrow. Parking lot shining like broken mirrors tonight. Parking lot velvet rain outside Monroe's lounge. Neon beer signs bleeding blue into puddles. Woman in a silver raincoat, smoking beneath the flickering awning, heels sinking slow into wet asphalt. Whole block smelled like wet leather, cigarettes, and fried onions from the diner next door. Old Cadillac idling near the curb, windshield fogged up with secrets probably. Bus tires hissing through standing water, soul music leaking soft from somebody's cracked window. City sounded tired, beautiful too. Stay a while.
Rain make lonely people honest.
Bartender stacking chairs inside early, cook smoking near the dumpster in slippers. Some drunk couple slow dancing badly beside a broken parking meter. You looked over and asked, you ever get tired of remembering things?
Long pause.
Rain getting heavier. I said only the good memories hurt this much. That silence afterward felt warmer than conversation. Meanwhile, thunder rolling low past downtown, streetlights buzzing weak through the storm, and puddles carrying neon halfway down the block. Funny thing about age, people think you stop falling in love.
Nah,
You just stop announcing it loudly.
starts happening quietly instead.
In parking lots,
In kitchens,
in tired conversations during rainstorms.
stay a while.
Night still holding us together softly.
Stay.
Silver raincoat glowing under neon.
Cadillac engine rumbling low.
Monroe's fading into the storm. Now this is a true story. Well, mostly true. Every Friday on the Riverboat Casino, there's a bingo game at 8:30. Folks arrive carrying Lucky Charms and sandwiches, convinced that destiny can't wait. I was sitting near the coffee counter, trying my luck with card number 2, when a woman in a bright green jacket walked in like she already knew something good was about to happen. She had confidence for miles around, the kind that makes a whole room pay attention. She was the riverboat bingo queen, ruling table 17, calling her numbers before they landed, like she'd seen the machine. Riverboat bingo queen, again. The caller laughed and shook his head, said, "Ma'am, you're taking all my prizes home." She raised her coffee cup and answered, "Honey, I'm just warming up." The whole room lost it. You know, some people bring luck. Some people are luck. Hey! Near midnight, she finally lost her round, and everybody gave a cheer. Not because they wanted her to fail, just because they thought the universe needed a fighting chance. She laughed louder than anyone else and bought dessert for half the room. That's when I knew exactly why. Everybody hoped she'd come back soon. She's the riverboat bingo queen, still reigning in my memory, with a little charm, a little style, and enough confidence for three. Riverboat bingo queen, making strangers feel like friends, turning simple nights into stories you'll be telling years from then. Riverboat bingo queen. Long may she reign. B12
G47.
and one unforgettable Friday. Woo! Oh. The stars were already out. I was just late noticing. Every Tuesday up on Miller Hill, a handful of folks bring telescopes. Teachers, plumbers, retired electricians, and kids with pockets full of hope. Nobody charges admission. Nobody claims to be an expert. Just a group of curious souls, sharing whatever they've learned and whatever they haven't. The city glows below us, the sky opens wide, and suddenly all our little worries look a little smaller tonight. With a Tuesday night telescope, looking past the edge of town, finding whole new worlds above us, while our feet stay on the ground. Tuesday night telescope makes a man feel young again, still discovering, still wondering what's waiting around the bend. A little girl spotted Saturn's rings and nearly jumped right out of shoes. She called her grandmother over, said, "You gotta see this too." The old woman leaned
then smiled like she was 10 years old. That's the thing about a wonder, it doesn't care how old you are. You know, a good night doesn't always need excitement. Sometimes it just needs perspective. Someone passed around a thermos of coffee. Someone else brought homemade pie. The conversations drifted between galaxies and local baseball standings nearby, which felt exactly right somehow, because life is both. With a Tuesday night telescope, still chasing beautiful views, not because I'm searching for answers, but because I enjoy the clues. Tuesday night telescope, still teaching me every week the world is bigger than I imagined, and kinder than people think. Tuesday night telescope, and a sky that never gets old. One more look at Saturn, then maybe another slice of pie.
Some people fix engines, some people fix roofs. Eddie fixes records. There's a little shop on Baxter Avenue, no bigger than a one-car garage. A faded sign says vinyl repair, like it's a perfectly normal job. Inside you'll find old Eddie Parker, working beneath the hanging light, with tiny brushes and steady hands, bringing scratched up songs back to life. He says, every record deserves another chance. Hard to argue with that. People bring albums from years gone by and leave with a smile a little wider than before. He's the vinyl repairman, putting music back together again. One crackle, one pop, one spinning memory at a time. Vinyl repairman, working magic nobody sees, making old melodies dance again through dusty speakers and dreams. A young musician brought in a record that belonged to his grandfather years ago. Said it won't play past track number 3. Eddie smiled and said, let's have a look. 3 days later, the needle found its way through every groove without a fight. The young man stood there shaking his head, something impossible. Maybe he had. I asked Eddie why he keeps doing it when most folks stream everything now. He laughed and wiped his glasses clean and pointed toward the turntable. Because people aren't bringing me records, they're bringing me memories. Then he got back to work like he'd said nothing special at all. He's the vinyl repairman, keeping old songs alive, not stuck in the past, just helping good things survive. Vinyl repairman, still showing up every day with steady hands and a starving belief that beautiful things are worth saving. Vinyl repairman, yeah, the world could use a few more like him. Needle drops, music starts.